First one is joining with everybody else who's congratulating Gregor. Gregor, thanks. Wouldn't have had this without you. Really appreciate it. Second, Steve Anderson. Thanks for admitting it was you who took me down the stairs. I come from a bowling family. Now, what does that mean? They all wear nice shoes with white socks. No, that's not it. My father was the general manager of Brunswick Bowling Centers, and he was also a pro bowler. I had 2 uncles that were pro bowlers and 4 cousins that were pro bowlers. My claim to fame in bowling was I was conceived in a bowling alley. And I honestly wish that wasn't true. But I understand it is. And I became a bowler or someone interested in bowling. I was a kid, and I went to work with my father all the time, especially on weekends. And what would I do when I was there? I would bowl a lot. And I became pretty good at it for a little kid. And when I became 11 years old, my dad was bowling in a men's money league on Sunday mornings, and I would go watch the guys bowl. And my father worked that bowling alley, was one of his centers. So they would say, "Natty's up." And they would yell, "Natty!" And he'd be busy. And one time, one of the coolest guys there said, "Little Corso, you get up and bowl for him." Now, I was sighted at the time. And I said, "Me?" And they said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm 11. I'm not allowed to bowl in a money league." What money? They said. I could see then, so I saw all the cash. But I was very compliant, and I went up and took a shot. And my first time ever bowling in the men's league for my dad, I got a strike. And that was one of the worst things that ever happened to me. Because I had a not so happy daddy who kept saying, "We don't want my son in these leagues, it's illegal. And I run the bowling alley, don't get me fired." Well, it happened several times that he wasn't available. They would tell me to get up, and I would bowl. I don't know if, I did some good, I did some bad, but I bowled. And I was a pretty good bowler as a 11-year-old. I had 171 average, which for a tyke like me was pretty good. And the very last time that I got to bowl for my dad in the money league, they sent me up, and I kept looking for my father because I was going to get a swift kick in the rump if he caught me. And he told me before the day, "You're not bowling today. So when they ask you to bowl, walk away." I didn't answer him, so I could plead deniability. I didn't hear you say that, Dad. I was planning everything. And of course, luck should have it, he's not around. We're at the end of a tournament. This is for big bucks. And they're big bucks. I never saw any of those things. And I got up, and I threw a beautiful ball, and it split the pins, and I left up the 7-10 split. And this is the first time I ever did something bad, like it was embarrassing. And I was nervous for only a second, and they were all counting that we lost. And okay, I recognize that song. I don't know why. Leader of the pack. I'm thinking about my dad. So I get up, and the guys are like, all murmuring that we lost because I'm not going to make the split. And of course, the punchline is I throw the ball down to the 7 pin. I hit it perfectly, slides across, hits the 10. I get the spare. Wow. My father sees me do this from a long distance down the bowling alley. And he starts to scream at me. But he saw the 2 pins go away. And he had a bad angle to know if I really made it or not. And the whole place was cheering and screaming and oh my God. And There was the fifth frame. My father comes running down. He goes, "That was awesome." I'm like, "Dad, I didn't do it. I swear to God, I didn't do it." And he's like, "Oh my God, it was great." And I get up for the sixth frame, and I'll wrap up by saying I was feeling pretty high from getting that 7-10 split. And I had hit a 7-bagger and struck out the rest of the game. I bowled a 256. And my father's team won the jackpot, which was $2,000. My father gave me a $20 bill.
For lying.
And since there's a lot of people swearing here, I'm going to refrain and just say, I learned a new term, WTF. But I will just end by saying, 13 days later, I went blind. And the biggest thing that hurt me the most on the first day was I wasn't going to be able to bowl anymore. And I was brokenhearted because it was one thing that I was really excelling in, and I enjoyed it. And I could care less about the money. It was everybody being happy that I did something good that made me so happy. And that was on my 12th birthday. I learned how to bowl afterward with a bowling rail, where I hold the rail and I guide myself up to the pins and throw. I had to learn how to bowl from the left as a righty. It's kind of hard. But I could hook a ball from the right to the left, and I was starting to get like, okay. But the first time I threw a ball blind, it went in the gutter. And the second time I did it on the second part of the frame, it went in the other gutter. And all the people watching me were so dejected and sad, they just didn't know how I was going to take it, and what could they say? And I stood at the ball return like this, and I said, "It can only get better from here."